Hey, good morning, folks. How embarrassing of me. My mic was doing some weird stuff, which meant that even though I thought I muted it, you could all hear me typing. Um, I was always planning to do a Tuesday thing, but then I did one yesterday, and I didn't think I would do something today. And in a roundabout way, I'm saying that today will probably be short, hour and a half. Not like yesterday. Yesterday we were on for almost 4 hours, which is a little bit crazy. Just want to get some of our stuff out today. We've got Smugglers Run. How's it going, man? Um, so we got Smugglers Run 2, and we got Big Dick Playa. And we have Conquest. I don't think we're going to drown this out all the way to 1 for TB Day 2, but maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I figured, it'll be kind of like the radio. Keep me company, I'll keep you company. We'll get our shit done. We'll all be happy and sing merrily and go from there. So let's see what we got going on. 6 minutes. I'm going to do some Smuggler's Run. Let's see if we can get this done in one try. I hear they fixed the Jar Jar event. So Limestone, I'm sorry, I feel bad for you having to trudge through all the crap yesterday, and then they fixed it. But I am still glad it's fixed because it does make life easier for most of you guys. Oh, my goodness. Then we do have a few roster reviews. We'll see if we get to them today. We get to one of them today. We see what happens with that. There we go. Perfect. Let's see. Did this guy ever message me back? No. Oh, sad day. Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of go, it sucks that you had to do it, but it's just nice that nobody else has to deal with it. I know a lot of people in my guild are now dealing with it right now. And they're playing it now, and apparently there's a bug with Darth Maul that's still affecting some people but not other people. But I don't know, because I don't have to do the event, which is really nice. Uh, But, are we hearing me? My mic was being funky. My mic was being funky earlier today. When I was trying to mute it, it wasn't muting, and I noticed afterwards. But you know, I bought a $40 mic, so what can I expect from it? Maybe one day I will be a big boy and I will buy myself a nice professional one. Thanks, Limestone. I was singing Into the Unknown too, you missed it. I'll have to remember to add that into the notes so that people know. I don't know what was going on with that. But as I was saying, I got a little bit lucky, but just like yesterday with the Fortify, I took Fortify over Zealous Ambition because I didn't want a Zealous Ambition until later. And now Fortify has shown up a bunch of times, and I have not seen another Zealous Ambition yet, and that is annoying to me. Hopefully I get one. We will see what happens. Into the unknown. Oh, man. Da 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 da. I'm really hoping, I know Limestone, you were saying this about Jar Jar just before. I'm really hoping that my guild, now that there's going to be a bunch more Jar Jars, they're going to step up with this raid. Because we're really struggling for participation. Not even struggling for like, I don't know, a lot of people are having trouble with the RNG and restarts, and they're just pissed off by it. And I honestly have not done that many restarts myself. At the higher end, there's a lot of ways that you can mitigate it. But I think not everybody really knows how to do that well. Oh, man. My first Conquest of this set, I did the same thing you did, Limestone, and I got everything right away, and I was so pumped. It made the entire thing so easy. Last time, it was not as... I was not as lucky, but I did end up finishing my set by like Sector 3. I'm obviously, I still got time. It's still Sector 2. I would like that Zealous Ambition because it'll make Captain Rex kill a lot easier, a lot faster. I don't really have the offensive discs that I would like, but I do have the defensive base. Instinct. Isn't it late for you? Aren't you in Australia, man? It's like... Well, it's like 10 p.m. That's not that bad. Ooh. I have this one mod that I have gotten irrationally attached to. I don't think I'm gonna get enough from this. Oh, you did the hundreds then. Okay, so you went like full on. You did more than the hundreds. Did you go into the 200s? Well, actually, it's 2 days. It's day 2 technically, so you could have just done the hundreds. Oh, we got. You know, I let Moonborn, our resident graphics guy into our guild. He's from Germany. And then after Moonborn joined, I think we have like 4 people from Germany that have joined our guild in the last couple of months. So I think it's a conspiracy actually against me. Just that, yeah, because it's day 2. I forgot that the day transfer over had hit. So I have this mod that I know I should not be upgrading anymore, but I have been. Show it to you. and I keep getting screwed on the refreshes, right? Like this beautiful mod right here, I just want it to roll one more speed. Like I should not be rolling this at 100 actuators, but if I get one more speed on it, I'll be so happy. It'll be a great Padawan Obi-Wan mod. If it's like 24 speed on it, that would be beautiful to me. Instinct, yeah, man. I happen to think it just kind of fell by the wayside. People kept messaging us and be like, hey, you know, or if you need to have a slot, like I'm looking for a guild, and I'd find out they're in Germany. So now we went from one guy from Germany, now we have 4. So there's a lot of German going on in our guild Discord now. Bandish man, good morning. I know it's early. It's like 6:30 for you. I get it. Obviously East Coast. This is my time. I just made breakfast for me and my wife. We'll probably maybe start a little bit later tomorrow and try to do TB day 2 and TB day 3. And we'll see what happens there. I gotta watch my Cobra Kai later. I gotta burn through that new season. We just got the notice that our Netflix, they are not grandfathering us in anymore, and so I'm canceling it, which sucks. I've been a Netflix subscriber since like 2007, and I'm not paying $20 a month for how little I use it. Furzy, yes, it is 100%, hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, it is sunk cost. Like, it's gonna pay off. It's going to pay off. I know it. I'm getting that one more speed roll. It's going to happen. All right. So let's see what we have here. I gotta do my Night Sisters battles. Potency down was coming along okay. Rebel Fighters, Imperial Troopers. We're gonna try to look for some things that I can do for Imperial Troopers. This is probably gonna be a Rebel battle. So let's do this with Rebel Fighters. Yeah, I usually don't slice past the second one, but it's gonna be an almost perfect mod to me if I get that one. So I'm like, I 100% recognize that it is irrational. I know it's a stupid decision. I am doing it anyway. Ooh, look at Kyle with that. So I was paying $10 a month. So before they did their price structure change, I was paying for 5 screens. And I was giving it to my dad and his girlfriend's son, and I was sharing it around to people that I knew. And once they changed that, I said, you know what, screw this, I don't want to do it anymore. And I lowered it down to that $10 a month one, which does not exist in the States anymore. But they grandfathered us in for a pretty decent amount of time. And I just got the email yesterday saying, hey, we're going to put you down to the ad tier, which is $6.99, but I'm not paying for ads. Or you can upgrade to the higher tier. And I'm not paying for that anymore. Not at like $20 a month. I don't watch enough on there. I want to watch my Cobra Kai, so I'm going to finish Cobra Kai before that happens. Yeah, it's getting out of hand. I think streaming is getting out of hand right now, and I think that a lot of networks are actually realizing that, and they're starting to remake some of those deals, right? Like there's a Disney Max bundle now, and a SpongeBob movie just came to Netflix, which would be Paramount. So I have a feeling that a lot of things are going to be changing soon. DCU, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I do with Apple. That's what I do with HBO. Netflix was always the one that I kept year round. But I'm not going to keep it year round anymore. Ooh. I actually... Cheers, man. Thanks for stopping in for a little bit. I don't really want to fight Maul, but I do like the idea of a Tusken node. Hey, Lady Geek. How's it going? I know I see you on Discord all the time, but I feel like I haven't seen you in the chat in a while. I was actually having a chat with Kunt yesterday, and it reminded me of the conversation we were having maybe like a month ago about being a guild officer. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how it works, but I have Verizon, and they give me that bundle for free, but it's like the stupid bundle with ads on Hulu, so I like pay extra so I can have the no ads version. I honestly do not use Disney as much as I should, but it's technically free-ish, so... I feel that. Obviously the opposite for me. It's summer, so I have plenty of time right now. And I'm just trying to stay out of my wife's hair while she works. Alright, this should be good now. I mean, the only real reason that I'm doing this one on manual is that Leia is not a Rebel fighter, and I need Rebel fighter kills. Which would be... nice. It would be super easy if I had my zealous ambition, but I don't. Alright, we are going to knock this out of the way with Jedi Master Luke. And we'll throw in these guys for fun, because, no, not those guys, because they are Jedi. We are doing Conquest. Yeah, you want to join us? Working in education, I don't really see reorganizations very often, but we are going through some weird stuff this year because we lost a few teachers. Our principal that we all love moved on to a superintendent role. So I guess it's kind of sort of a reorganization in a weird way. Rescue Panda. Cheers. Good morning. Trying to do as much as I can here with my gimp foot. Stay off my feet as much as I can. Ooh, too many assists. I don't want you guys assisting. Yes, yes, heal. We want heals. Heal him. Let's go. So that Yoda can get his attacks in. Oh, you didn't hear me? I posted on Discord. I just assume everyone knows. So last Tuesday, so a week ago, I was practicing at my dojo before class, and I was practicing some spinning jump kicks, and I just landed wrong, and I completely toppled, and basically the whole back end of my foot is purple right now, like straight up purple. Thankfully, no bone damage. We don't know if there's ligament damage yet. I have it where can you see it? Oh, double wrapped right now so that I can walk. Without it, I hobble everywhere without the double wrapping on. So I teach a blended style. But when I tell people about it, I usually just tell them Shotokan karate, because that is like the closest representation. It's a mix of Shotokan karate with some Kung Fu influence and a little bit. My instructor used to call it Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, but I would say it's more like a judo. The training dummy did definitely get me. It was pretty bad. I landed, I toppled right to the ground. I generally do not cry when I'm in pain. I laugh, and that's how you know I'm in pain. And I just started laughing hysterically. And I called a bunch of my instructors up, and all of my instructors were busy or out of town. So I took an ice pack and I just taped the ice pack to my foot. And I ended up teaching for 3 hours before going to urgent care, which was dumb, but I didn't really have much choice. Fun times. Rebel fighters. I guess the Rebel fighters could... I didn't really want to play against a Padme team. So if you want to see pictures of it, they're probably on Discord. They're gross. Oh, nice. I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for about 4 years. I never got too into it. I was a little bit... I earned my blue belt in like 2 or 3 years. It is the American Medical. I mean, I have really great insurance through school. So I only paid a $15 copay. But like, I can't get an MRI yet to find out if there's ligament damage. I have to wait a couple weeks to see if it's still injured, so that it's like medically necessary for me to get an MRI. So I guess you could call that like the American medical system at work. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm familiar with a little bit of TKD. TKD is more predominant with like the spinning kicks. I don't really do a lot of spinning kicks in my system. I don't find them to be super practical, but I like to practice them on my own, just to challenge myself, which is probably why I fell and hurt myself. Yeah, see, well, that's the one thing about being an educator, is the one thing we do generally get is really good health insurance. It's really the only reason I still work at the school. If I go to the emergency room, it's 50, but if I go to a specialist, or if I go to urgent care, it's 15, which is really nice. With a full squad of Galactic Republic surviving. Okay, I think we're kind of low, but we'll try it. The challenge knocked me on my ass that round is what it did. Like, really, truly knocked me on my ass. And when I went to the urgent care, it hadn't started to black and blue yet. So I went there and I was like thinking the doctor's gonna think I'm lying. And then I woke up the next morning and I took a shower and I didn't notice it was black and blue yet. And then I went to the dojo, and one of my 16-year-old instructors, she was like staring at my foot. And I was like, you're being weird. Why are you being weird? And she pointed out that the entire thing was purple. And I was like, okay, maybe you have to do all the teaching today because I clearly should not be standing up right now. Occupational hazard is what it is. Yeah, this is disgusting. It's starting to turn yellow now, which is a good sign with black and blues. But what sucks is last summer, I was really starting to get back into running. And then I got knocked on my ass and got diagnosed with pretty severe asthma. And I have that in check. So this year I started getting back into running again, and I was starting to build up my run times again and starting to build up my distance again. And now I can't run because my ankle is... She could do them. She could definitely do them. I've shown them to her before, and we've practiced, we've trained them before. But she generally teaches my younger classes. There's nothing I really want here. But my Imperial Troopers should be able to do this. Oh, man. I'll answer those in order. I am familiar with Krav Maga. It's not Brazilian. It's Israeli martial art. It's basically, I know I'm underselling it, but the idea is do anything to survive, right? Like, it's basically use every part of your body, do whatever you need to do. I don't have much experience with it, but I am familiar with it. As far as Zetas for MK3 material, I mean, I'm at a different level of the game than you are, I'm sure. I personally think that for MK3, they're very expensive. And I don't... it's not something... Come on. It's not something that I would recommend personally. Yeah, and when I teach, I actually do try to teach in a more practical way. So I do talk about traditional stances. I do teach traditional stances. I do. God, my freaking. I do think that there's a place for traditional stances in showing how to do things. But I do really try to preach practicality and understanding the practicals of things. Gavin, I'm like praying, man, that I don't have ligament damage. And I do have a feeling the black and blue was really bad. I I am I'm fearing. I am truly fearing that it's gonna put me out of commission for a little while. All right, we're just gonna do the Night. All right, we'll try Night Sisters, but I know that they have their things and it might not work. Yeah, I have been icing my ankle very often. It's wrapped in a bandage and it's wrapped in a pretty tight compression sock, which has also helped considerably. I think it depends less on your guild and more on your account. You know, I'm personally, I'm doing it. I'm working on getting Master Qui-Gon to R9. For me, even if the event goes away and just the way Meathead explained the event, I just have like this 60-40% belief that the event might go away. But my thought is, even if the event goes away, I'm getting a rebate on materials, and that is worth it. And having a rebate on those arrow magnifiers is worth it. I'm hoping, man. I'm like really hoping. I'm a very physical. I know it doesn't seem like it because I'm always on my computer here, but I'm a very physical person. It's very hard for me to sit down and rest. I want to be up and active and doing things. It sucks for me that I cannot. That I cannot at this point. They actually haven't. So, Meathead released 2 statements. The first statement said, Duel of the Fates will run monthly for the time being. The second statement said, next month it'll run on this date, and then going forward it'll be on the third, Thursday, Monday, whatever day it was, of the month. That doesn't contradict the first statement. It just really says that, hey, while it's running, it'll be on that third, whatever day it is. And I'm not saying it's going to be temporary, but when they said for the time being, it got me a little nervous. Though I do still think it's worth it. Bendis, my only problem with wrestlers, and you were obviously a wrestler in high school, is I rent my dojo from a wrestling school. And they are some dirty motherfuckers. Like they are, like there's no respect. Like the fight that I put in to keep this place clean, it's just disgusting. They run around all over the place. They like throw their crap onto the mats. They're loud. I completely, at my own expense, redid their bathroom for them because it looked like a warehouse bathroom. Within a week, there was graffiti on the things that I bought them, and I was like, "Are you guys effing kidding me?" Yeah, if your account is set up for it, then do it. You know, if your account is set up to get those materials, don't wait for your guild. Having that passive source is nice. It'll help your guild with the raid. They are 2 great characters. Yeah, you know, I'm not saying every wrestler is like that, but from talking to other people, I have heard that a lot. I've heard that quite a decent amount from other people and other wrestling schools around here. The owners are very nice people, but like the martial arts is very respect driven, or at least my style is. So it is a kick in the face when I have to deal with things like that pretty consistently. Banish, cheers. Thanks for stopping in. I'm glad this summer I can hang out with you a little bit because I know the Sunday morning brunches can be tough. What I would say, Pazletti, is, some people end up asking for roster reviews often. I would say that with whatever advice I gave you, a lot of people message me on Discord and they go, "Oh, you probably remember my review," and I go, "No, I don't, because I've done 100 since then. Your account, I can't even recall it." But when you get to about the point where you're like 75 to 80% through the advice I gave you, or you just completely ignored my advice and have done some major changes, that is kind of when it's worth talking about another review, unless you just want the same advice over again. Lady Geek, I agree with you, but I think that in the past they've never had to say something was permanent, and we've just known like, hey, this is how things run, and that's fine for me. It was when they said "for the time being," which hinted at it being more temporary than any event in the past. That's the only time where I said, hey, wait a second, this is weird. I think I would like for them to say Duel of the Fates is planned to run in the same way that all other assault battles do. We have no current plans to change that, but reserve the right to do whatever in the future. Like, that at least would tell me that, like, all right, like they're not planning to do anything, like I can count on this, and then if a year later, if they change it, I'll be a little bit annoyed, but I'm not gonna like flip out over it. What do we got coming up? That Bad Batch note I'd really, really like to see. For Jar Jar, Panda, because that sucks. I know how that feels. I've definitely miscalculated gear in the past, and it's not fun. Especially if you have to end up buying things to get other things in a certain timeline. Let's do K2SO. For Jar Jar himself, or for unlocking? Because I know you were talking about the unlock earlier. So hopefully, at the very least, you'll be able to unlock him and deal with it. I was joking with my guild this morning because they're all complaining about, I guess, like I said, that there's possibly a bug with Darth Maul 2. I don't know. And I was saying, oh, like it's a great thing that I did it a month ago. Okay, all right. So it's not too bad of an issue. But I understand. Like, I get, like, the excitement of timelines. I'm like that in my real life. I like knowing times. I like knowing what's going on. I'm somebody that just needs to have that structure. I definitely have my issues in that way, just with life in general. Especially if we're making unscheduled stops somewhere, I get annoyed. Just tell me and I'll be fine with it. Pazletti, I mean, it depends on if like, obviously I'm not looking at your account right now, but if you feel like things you've done to your account may fundamentally change what I'm going to tell you, then request another one. You know, sometimes what happens is we see new stuff come to the game and we go, oh, let's look at this again, and it doesn't really change the fundamental message that I'm going to say. You know, Panda, I've been joking over the last couple of days when people have asked me about the Omicrons, and I just say yes. It really depends on the type of game you want to play. I have all of them except for the GC one. I obviously would not recommend the GC one. The Boss Nass one is for TW. I would only recommend that if your guild, you know, pushes TW. If your guild's not pushing TW, there's really no sense in getting that one. I like the Captain Tarples one for TB. Not everybody likes TB Omicrons. They save me time, they save me effort, so I am all about it. It turns that team into like an almost guaranteed auto battle, which I love. Alright, I need more Rebel Fighters. And then obviously you have Jar Jar, right? And Jar Jar is GAC. Those are the Omicrons that people like. And I'm happy with all three of them personally. They all looked good on paper. He's doing really well for me, but again, I also have the Datacron, which double makes my life easier. All right, good. Get some of these things out of the way. Yeah, man, of course. And, you know, oh, that was dumb. That was silly of me. I wasn't paying attention. Stupid chat. I was paying attention to you guys. You know, if you request one too and it's a little early, you're just going to get the same advice, which is, I mean, it's fine with me. It gives me something to talk about on a Sunday morning. So the number next to Jabba, I haven't done any roster reviews this morning, but the number next to Jabba represents how many times in the given day that I have recommended Jabba. It's actually a graphic that I'm looking to get rid of. Moonborn did it for me as a joke back when I was literally doing 10 roster reviews a day, and it turned out that like 8 or 9 of them would always be like, you need Jabba, you need Jabba, you need Jabba. We're actually looking to completely redesign this into like my final form. Yeah, if you don't have Jabba, it's probably gonna be farm Jabba. I cannot stress at all how important Jabba is. Alex, if you go to the welcome channel, so you need to go to the welcome channel and you need to just accept the rules. You click on the little emoji and it'll give you what you need to be able to type in that channel. His GAC ones are beautiful. I love them. I really do. Yaba. I feel like a broken record when I talk about Jabba, but he's that important. Like, he literally is that important to an account, especially to an account looking to get more competitive. You absolutely... Did they have... Oh, it's because I don't have a leader's resolve on, that's why. I need a freaking leader's resolve. So if you request a review and mention that, so just say, look, I'm just asking about Naboo and what I should do for Naboo. I will specifically look at just that aspect. If that's what you want me to do, that's completely fine. And I'll tell you how far into Naboo you should be considering and how much effort you should be considering versus pulling back and versus your other farms that you're working on. So if that is your specific need, just send me a message there on the review channel saying, hey, like I'm really looking for this one thing. Is like, what can I do? What is the easiest route for me to meet the needs of my guild of Egnards' army for Naboo? For Jar Jar, I'm gonna be honest with you. I obviously applied all three right away. I would say, what I generally do is if I have a character that has 3 Omicrons, I go to you guys, motherfuckers. I go to .gg and I look at the Omicron report and I see which one was applied the most. That's my secret life hack for to do Night Sisters here. They should be able to beat them. That's my secret life hack for deciding which Omicrons to apply for a specific character that has multiple. Yeah, him and Jedi Master Luke are like you said, they're like staples. Like, if you want to be competitive to some degree, you need them. Doesn't mean that everyone needs to get them right away, but a lot of people really, really do need to get them in fairly short order. It becomes that helpful to them. Yes, the mod event is that good. It comes around like 3 times a month. So as a player who has played this game for 8+ years, I have 8 years of mods to fall back on. So I do okay. And even with Jabba and even with Smuggler's Run, I still feel like I can't stay on top of my mods. But it helps so much. So much. Like, I cannot stress enough how much that helps. I will tell you that I'm really loving Pow and Master Qui-Gon. I don't think it's right for everybody. It's kind of like those, Cialis commercials. Don't use Cialis if you're allergic to ingredients in Cialis. Don't use Cialis if you have a heart condition. Let your doctors know. It's the same kind of thing. It's not for everybody right now, but I don't know why I picked Cialis. Well, I kind of agree with, Fat Phil, his argument, his don't farm Inquisitors until your guild forces you to farm Inquisitors. And it sounds like you're being forced to do that, and we all get to that point. And being a guild player does mean something. I see on Reddit a lot, people ask about these things, and other people go, any guild that asks you to farm something, you should leave them, because you should only farm the things that you want. The reality is that a guild is an effort of 50 people working together towards something. And while you should leave a guild like that if that's not your play style, if you want to get ahead in the game, it is a huge deal. A huge deal to do things as a group thing. Finish Jar Jar. Congrats, man. Let's see. Malgus or Leia first? I'll tell you what. I'll take a quick look for you after Conquest if you're sticking around, Dank. I'll actually pull it up during... Well, let's see what the next battle is. But we'll pull it up and we'll take a look. Certain defeat be reduced to 50. They are inflicted... See, I'm not getting the ones that I want here, which really sucks. I like that Dank is no nonsense. It's like, here's beer money. Answer my question. Kind of wish more people were like that. What do I want to do here? I don't think my troopers are going to be able to do this again. Troopers. I wonder... I'm going to try this. I don't think it's going to work, but we're going to see. Is it Stark? That's not the leader. Stark is not the leader. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work, but we're going to just see if I can get these Imperial Trooper things. Inquisitors are not bad with GI. They're not bad at all. But they're also very Kyrotech heavy. And I do think that they can be a really smart move for people that are looking to advance their guild, because they will push you ahead and make you very attractive to other guilds. But I do think that there are a lot of other farms that are important too, that typically should happen first. Yeah, I didn't think this was gonna work. All right, we're just gonna do this the easy way. Do you think BKM as a guild for the Mandalore Cairo is better than, say, current raid teams? So Peridia, my belief is that we're gonna get a raid. I don't think we're gonna get a Peridia planet. I think we might get a Naboo planet towards the end of this current raid cycle. But I think that the next raid is going to be Peridia or Peridia adjacent. And that's where people want to kind of keep their eyes out. Man, what are the general things here? I don't care about Cal Kestis wins right now. Gungans, we'll do a Gungan battle just to get it over with. Because it'll be useful. I kind of agree with Ruth Vader Ginsburg on Mandalore. It's really hard to say if it's better than Raid without knowing your guild. It's really hard to say without looking at where your guild is at, what they're doing in TB, what they're doing in the Raid. But I do think that it's better to prioritize BKM over Cal Kestis and Zepho, because Zepho's mission is pretty tough and can be a challenge for players, especially if their modding is not great. Whereas the BKM mission is mostly mindless, and if you unlock it correctly, you can do it over 2 to 3 days. And get those Kyrotech, and it is, I think, worth it for a lot of people. All right, let's 832-688-773. Let's put this in real quick. File, new tab, Star Wars, Galaxy of Heroes. And we're gonna go to /P, right? So these X's out. Not found. P. Oh, I see why. Silly me. Just gonna let that pull up in the background, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. All right, what do we got going on? I might be able to cheese this later on, so it might be worth getting now. My rebels are really low on stamina now. It depends. What are you guys currently doing in the raid? What's your current raid box? You know, like that also kind of really takes into account whether it's worth it or not to continue to focus the raid. You know what? Let's throw some Jedi in here. Was this one that has a Scarif guy? Oh, it does. Okay. So let's throw some Jedi in here and see if we can cheese the rest of these kills. We'll throw Ahsoka in there. We'll throw Revan in there. Let's throw you in there. We'll get a Rebel fighter in there. Kyle is too low right now, but he would be ideal since he's also a Jedi. Let's say Cara Dune. Sure, why not? So if you're just hitting the 130 million box now with all of the Jar Jars, you're gonna have to double that score after in order to increase. And it doesn't seem like you're gonna have the time to do that in a short enough amount of time where that's gonna be worth it for you guys. So it might be worth considering deprioritizing it once you hit that box. You know, because again, think about it. You're going to need about 100. With the last raid, it was about like a 3-month turnaround on when it was worth it to work towards like raid stuff. And if you're hitting like the 2-month period soon, it really doesn't make sense to me to say, yeah, spend, you know, you're going to definitely get 130 million more on top of that 130 million that you're currently already getting. So just something to keep in mind, really. I hate that I'm getting all these battles that I have to pay attention to. And I shouldn't have used Cara Dune. That was dumb because her animations take forever. Okay, perfect. We are going to maybe do this. I'm going to try to get to alt. Get rid of some of these guys. Absolutely. And I think that if you're reaching like my guild should be able to hit the 200 something million box once everybody has their Jar Jar. And then it doesn't make sense to do that anymore. Um, I agree. I do think that well, it will be a better choice for most people to go for BKM over Zepho just because of the ease of the battle versus the Zepho battle. Anything. It depends on the guild and it depends on the person and it depends on where they're at. It depends on if you feel like that's the most important thing for your guild. It depends on how smart your guild members are. Again, like I'm working with some people who just like they're telling me they're spending 3 hours on the Luminara team and I'm like, I have never spent that much time. What are you doing wrong with your run? You're not getting that bad of RNG. But if you're just hitting the 130 million box now, you're trying to get an extra 2.7 million per person in about an extra month. It seems like a lot for most people. For most people, not for everybody, not for people RVG like at our level. But for most people. All right, I want to answer Dank's question because he threw beer money at me, and we do still have one more refresh. But let's see what we got here. We're saying finish Jar Jar, Malgus, or Leia first. So this is just a really quick question. Let's see, do we even have Malgus yet? 100%. Man, I've done the videos on it. Like I understand where you're coming from with that answer. But I just think that you're underestimating how long it takes the average person to do farms. You're not the average person. I'm not the average person. And in a guild, you're going to have a few people that are really, really, really great at getting things done, and you're going to have a bunch of people who are not great at getting things done. And in the next 4 to 5 weeks, getting 2.7 million extra per person for a guild that seems to be at like the mid-high tier, I think it's going to be an uphill battle. Finished Mason Jar. Let's see, Leia. 780 carbon. Okay. Fairly close to Leia. Let's see. Terran, Supreme Leader. What about... You have Malik. What does the rest of your Sith Empire look like? Oh, wow. You haven't even really done... You haven't done your Sith Empire at all, man. Damn. I am not smart enough to give you an exact day on when the best time, on the cutoff. I am just going off of the last raid and like a rough estimate based on people much smarter than me and what they were saying from like that November to mid-February for speeder bike. That is people who do math at a much, much, much higher level than I do. And if this is anything like that, it's going to be somewhere around there. Half Malik Savant. Yeah, man. Let's see. Let's go back to the tools. tough on the Leviathan. I hate that you're not doing super well with your fleet climb. I think we've talked about that in the past. I hate that this is happening to you right here. My thought would be twofold. If you feel that you can get Leviathan in the next 4 to 5 months, 3 to 5 months, go Malgus. If you feel like you cannot get that in the next 3 to 5 months, go Leia. That's going to be based off where your Fury class is right now. That would be my thought. Malgus in a vacuum, you're trying to gear up an entire team for him. It's not just an easy vacuum of, oh, just gear up Malgus. You have that whole... Well, good news, Dank, man. With my 7-star Leviathan, you put Mark 6 in the opening lineup and you hit auto. I literally hit auto. Yes, you can beat Leviathan with Profundity with the M6 trick. With the Leviathan and the Mark 6, I just hit auto. I win 90 to 95% of the time. Just hitting auto. I do not play that battle on manual anymore, and I have not for the last 4 months. And I do not remember which one of you guys told me that trick. I wish that I did, because whoever it was, I love you forever. You're amazing. You have saved me so much effort. But my thought here is you either go all in on Leviathan or you go for Leia. Because it's going to take you similar amounts of time between the whole Malgus team or Leia. So you either go for Leviathan or you go for Leia. Don't just go for Malgus on his own right now. That would be my thought process here. You could make the argument as like an 8 to 9 million player that you want to wait till Q1 of 2025 to see if they are going to release a new fleet, which I have a feeling they're going to. That's fine. So if you don't want to do Leviathan, go for Leia, but don't right now. Don't prioritize Malgus over Leia, because it's not as simple as just doing Malgus. You have to gear up that entire team, and Leia will just give you more overall if you're not going to do Leviathan. So that's my answer there. All right, I think we have one more. We've got one more Conquest refresh we can do. We did this. I really wish my troopers could do this, but without Leader's Resolve, that's going to be really tough. We already saw that. Night Sisters. I'm worried about all of the tenacity up, so I don't know if I'm going to do Night Sisters here right now. These are not the worst nodes in the world. Let's just do a Gungan battle. Let's get it out of the way. Yeah, Malgus is a great team. Don't get me wrong, but if you had the rest of your Sith Empire, I'd say absolutely Malgus. It doesn't make sense not to. But having to gear up that whole team is going to be similar, slightly shorter than Leia. And Leia is just going to provide more for you. Unless you go for Leviathan. So if Leviathan's not something you want to do right now, then Leia. I mean, Shield Flyer in... I think you're always on cap stuff, aren't you? I recognize you. Without looking at your whole account, I have no idea. But in a vacuum, I think Jabba is a super important character. If you already have Rey, Zori is a super quick, easy farm, and it's worth doing to get a whole nother team. But in a vacuum, it is kind of hard to answer that question. Let's see. We got the Rebel Fighters. We got our potency up. So again, it's Night Sisters. See, I wish I had a Zealous Ambition right now. That would make my life so much easier. This is not going to work. Those Imperial Trooper kills. If I had more Zealous Ambitions, that would be super nice, but I do not. I'm going to hold these battles till later in the day, is what I'm going to do. And we're going to just see what I can clean up here for right now. Light Side Mandalorians, Ewoks, full resistance. So I'm going to finish that later. I'm going to let some stamina build up. We're going to just get these things out of the way. DCU, to go back, I do agree with you. I do think that the raid was frustrating at first because we didn't know what to farm. I also think that, yes, there is some RNG, and I don't like the RNG. I don't like doing restarts. But sometimes people are too into getting a max score, and they don't think about the effort required. For example, one example was we were talking about yesterday where I was running the Sith trio, the Maul, Newt, Sidious team on R5, even though they're all R7, because I can max that at 1.2 with no RNG every single time. And that to me was worth it over the extra 600,000 points, because my guild did not need the extra 600,000 points. It wasn't going to move the needle for them. I was already 3 million above my guild's average, right? I think that sometimes people get too into getting an extra 200,000, an extra 300,000 points, and they get frustrated because they're going over and over and over again. And I don't always necessarily think that is necessary in all situations. I have not at all done refreshes to the same degree that a lot of people have done. My refreshing, I might refresh once or twice. I never go crazy with it. And I hit fairly consistent scores. And I do think that people need to kind of ask themselves that question of, is it important to get this extra 300,000, this extra 400,000? Ugh, gross. Those extra Chirotech from Mandalore are beautiful. I don't hurt for all new characters I bring to G11 immediately at this point. And I have 1,200 of each Chirotech right now. I would bring more characters to Relics, but I'm concerned more about G12 yellow gear. Literally more than anything else. Okay, we need our Ray Resistance team to put in some work here. It's always about finding time. No, not finding time. I was going to say time variables, but that doesn't make sense. It's always about assessing your time and understanding your time and understanding what is worth it and what is not worth it. And I think that what happens is people put in 100% effort and they get really, really frustrated. And then when they get really frustrated, what they do is they drop down to 10% effort. And I've seen it in my guild. People go like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I just can't deal with the RNG, so I only got 1,000,000 points. And then you roll your eyes. I think for those people, if you take your 100% and you bring it down to like 75%, you will find a huge downshift in the amount of time that things take. And you will be helping your guild more overall. And that's kind of the approach I take for everything in this game, is 100% effort only when it is worth it from a time perspective, 75% effort all other times. And you see that in like Conquest when I'm autoing a lot of battles and I might lose some, but it's not a big deal. You see that in TB where I auto everything. And if I lose some, those waves don't matter because I'm already outperforming my guild that's like trying even harder than I'm trying. And they either go from 100% trying down to 0% trying. Do I use Zeb? I use Hera, Captain Rex. I use Chopper. I use Canon Jarrus. And I think I use Sabine. But Sabine kind of goes towards BKM now. I would probably use Ezra in that situation just because Ezra can transfer over really well to a Jedi squad later on. 24 of 35 for Ewoks. We'll get those Ewok kills later. I need my JML squad to rest up a little bit. Yeah, see Sabine. I use her right now in that squad, but you know, I do use her sometimes with my Mandalorians. It kind of just depends on what's going on at the time and how I feel and whatever else. Oh, okay, we're getting there. Beautiful. Yeah, I used Sabine before my Mando squad. Now I kind of use her with Mando sometimes. It really depends on what I'm planning on doing. Okay, so I do not have all the data disks that I would like to have right now, but I'm kind of where I want to be. Remember, the goal is that by Saturday I'm putting in 0 effort. And right now, you know, we're pretty much on track to be able to do that. Let's just check out how TB is going for us. Oh, perfect. We are done with TB. Excellent, excellent, excellent job. Okay, and we are good. Let's see what's going on here. I got to get this guy. I have been really hurting. Really hurting for signal data with these 2 farms. Like really hurting. And I know it sounds silly, but I'm very low on crystals for where I like to be. 7.8, 160. Okay. How many zeros posted? Guys, see, look at this. We're at a 580 million guild, right? And I think we have 7-8 hours left in this raid. And you can see, like, people wait till the last minute because they're just getting so frustrated with it already. Because they're putting in 100% effort and not seeing that return. Which means that I'm going to have to send out messages today trying to explain what I'm talking to you guys about now. Because really, at a 580 million guild, everybody should be able to hit these numbers right here, right? 5-6 million without any issues. I'm doing 7.8. That should go up to like 9 once I get that quad mate team completely finalized. But it's about finding the right balance for you. It's about finding the right balance for your guild. Guys, we've gone for about an hour and a half this morning. I always intended for this one to be shorter. If there's anybody that's watching that I currently have a roster review in Q4, and I think I said like, oh, Tuesday, but I did a bunch on Monday. I promise you, tomorrow we're going to do more of a longer term thing. We'll do our day 2 TB, we'll do some Conquest, we'll do day 3 TB if we have time, and we'll get all of those roster reviews knocked out. Like I said, I got to go watch my Cobra Kai because I got to get that finished before my Netflix subscription runs out because I am canceling. I did just do a video this morning on our TV library for those of you that are not aware of it. For everybody else, thank you for joining me. Thank you for flying Air Egnards, and have a great rest of your